in the shadow of the Pyrenean peaks, where the wind carves the stone into needles of ice, there lived a small breath of a girl, a flicker in the damp gloom of the Cachot. The walls of her world tasted of salt and ancient hunger, yet her hands held the worn wood of the beads, as if it were the only warmth left in the hollow of the earth. Bernadette, small sister of the brambles, gatherer of dry wood along the banks of the Gave, you did not seek the thrones of the valley or the gold of the cathedral spires, for your eyes were tuned to a frequency of the unseen, a quiet hum beneath the roar of the mountain water that others mistook for silence. Massabielle waited like a mouth of earth, dark and forgotten by the respectable, a sanctuary for the refuse of the river and the prayers of the desperate who had nowhere else to turn. Then came the tremor in the leaves of the wild rose, a rustle that was not the north wind, but the stirring of a celestial garment. A lady of light stood in the niche, clothed in the brilliance of 1,000 midnights turned to noon. Her feet graced by the yellow roses of the mountain, her waist bound by a ribbon, the color of a summer sky after the rain. You knelt in the dirt, the rosary sliding through your fingers like smooth pebbles of faith. And in that moment, the hierarchy of the world was inverted, for the queen of the stars spoke to the child of the breadlines in the language of the heart. They laughed when you scratched at the earth with trembling hands, your fingernails blackened by the silt, and the mockery of the wise who see only the surface of things. You drank the muddy slurry, an act of madness to the clean, a feast of humility that the proud could never swallow. But the mud grew clear, the earth surrendered its secrets, and a vein of liquid silver began to pulse from the rock. A persistent heartbeat of mercy that would never run dry. This was the baptism of the grotto, where the wounds of the flesh met the purity of the hidden deep, and the water carried the scent of a grace that does not bargain with the worthy, but flows freely to the broken. I am the Immaculate Conception, she whispered, and you who knew only the patois of the poor and the rhythm of the shepherd's call, carried those heavy words like precious porcelain back to the gates of the town. You did not understand the dogma of the scholars, yet you were the living vessel of its truth, a child of grace who walked between the raindrops of doubt without getting wet. Your poverty was your protection, a transparency that allowed the light of the lady to pass through you without the distortion of ego or the shadow of ambition. You were the messenger who became the message, a quiet witness to the reality that the smallest soul is the widest window for the divine. The world demanded a spectacle, a saint to be touched and measured. But you chose the shadow of the cloister, the white veil of Nevers, where the only applause was the clicking of beads and the slow erosion of your bones. Your suffering was a silent liturgy, a long winter of the body, where the flowers of the grotto were replaced by the thorns of the cross. I am ground like a grain of wheat, you said, as the light of your soul prepared to leave the fragile lantern of your frame. You did not ask for the healing you gave to millions. You offered your pain as a ladder of sighs, reaching toward the one who smiled at you in the niche of the rock when you were only a girl with a bundle of sticks. Now the mountains echo with the songs of the pilgrims, a river of fire moving through the dark. Each candle a prayer ignited by your simple and devastating yes. The water still rises cold and crystalline, washing the dust from the eyes of the blind and the heavy burdens from the hearts of the weary. Child of grace, you remain in the stillness between the notes of the hymn, a reminder that the most profound miracles are found in the mud, that the highest heavens are reached by those who kneel the lowest, and that the grace of the lady is a spring that begins in the heart of a child who was never afraid to believe in the impossible. In the hollowed marrow of the mountain, where the silence breathes in rhythmic tides of stone, there dwells a sentinel of the invisible, a weaver of the quietude that binds the fractured soul to the absolute. It is not a shield of hammered bronze or burnished iron that we seek today, nor the vanity of shields that rust in the salt of human tears, but a bulwark forged in the furnace of a 3-year solitude. Beneath the limestone ribs of Subiaco, the world's clamor was distilled into a singular drop of devotion, a liquid clarity that quenched the fire of the flesh and hardened into the diamond geometry of the rule. You, the father of the West, did not flee the world to abandon it, but to learn the architecture of its true defense, standing as a pillar where the currents of chaos break and dissolve into the order of the divine. The chalice of envy fractured at the sign of your hand, a crystalline explosion that echoed through the cloisters of the spirit, proving that the venom of man is powerless against the breath of the world. It is this broken glass we tread upon now, walking toward the mountain of Casino, with feet shod in the readiness of peace, guided by the raven that carries away the poison bread of our own bitterness. The air around your name smells of damp earth and ancient parchment, of cedar wood and the cold, sharp scent of an alpine dawn, where the frost clings to the monk's cowl like a mantle of silver humility. We are the laborers in the vineyard of the unseen, swinging the scythe of prayer against the overgrowth of the ego, planting the seeds of aura in the furrows of Labara, until the harvest of the soul is ripe for the granaries of eternity. Crux sacra sit mihi lux, the vows of protection carved into the very air we inhale. A geometric fortress where the dragon finds no purchase, and the serpent's hiss is silenced by the humming of the psalms. This is the shield that does not weigh upon the arm, but lifts the heart toward the uncreated brilliance, a transparency that reflects the malice of the abyss back into the void. It is a shield of listening, an ear inclined to the Master's voice, until the interior silence becomes a cathedral where the lamp of the Spirit never flickers. No arrow of the midday devil can pierce the weave of a life lived in the enclosure of the holy will. For the boundaries of the monastery are the frontiers of a kingdom that knows no geography but the geography of grace. The iron pendulum of the monastic clock strikes the hour of our awakening, calling us from the slumber of the senses to the vigil of the vigilant, where the liturgy is the heartbeat of a world that has forgotten how to pulse in time with the Creator. We trace the cross upon our lips, sealing the gateway of speech, so that only the gold of the gospel may pass through, refining our words until they are as heavy and as precious as the stones you laid to build the houses of God upon the ruins of the idols, in the sweat of the brow and the bowing of the knee. The shield is tempered in the patience of the brother and the silence of the cell. The Spirit is armed with the resilience that outlasts the empires of dust and the monuments of pride. Guide our hands as we grasp the plow of our daily duties, and steady our gaze upon the horizon where the sun of justice never sets. For we are pilgrims under the banner of the Benedictine peace. Let the pacts that you carved into the granite of Europe be the seal upon our foreheads, a mark of belonging that the world cannot recognize and the darkness cannot extinguish. Through the storms of the century and the gales of the mind, your rule remains the anchor, the compass and the wall, a legacy of equilibrium in a world of extremes. We sing the song of the shield, not as a plea for escape, but as a vow of endurance, standing firm in the cloisters of the heart, protected by the wisdom of the patriarch who taught us that to work is to pray, and to pray is to become a fortress of the living light. The first vibration strikes the narthex wall, where the gray dust of exhaustion has settled over the years, and the initial melody is a draft of cool air through a heavy bronze door. It begins not with a shout, but with the click of a rosary against a wooden pew, and the slow, deliberate ignition of a beeswax taper. This is the first song of the 8, a respiration for the breathless, where the lungs of the soul are invited to expand against the corset of old sorrows. We speak here of the morning of the optic nerve, when the stained glass finally catches a fractured sunbeam and turns a monochromatic grief into a kaleidoscope of ruby and sapphire. The healing starts in the retinas as they learn to see the architecture of a sanctuary that was built to outlast the tremor of our hands. Underneath the vaulted arches, the second movement rises as an unction of scented chrism and crushed hyssop. It is the hymn of the tactile oil sliding over the forehead to seal the cracks in the intellect where doubt has leaked in like winter rain Hear the choir hums a low sustained drone that mimics the steady pulse of a sleeping heart, finally at peace. There is no jagged rhythm here, only the smooth surface of a silver painting reflecting a face that has forgotten how to smile. The music pulls the shrapnel of regret from the muscle tissue of the spirit and replaces the iron with the softness of white linen, washed in the waters of a distant Jordan. It is the melody of the mendicant who finds a feast in a single crumb of hope. The third invocation is a polyphony of the ancestors, where the voices of the choir become a ladder of interlocking intervals. Each note is a stone in a cathedral wall, supporting the weight of the note above it. This is the song of collective endurance, where the individual ego is submerged into the resonant body of the church. We sing of the communion of the broken, where every fracture in one soul is reinforced by the wholeness of another. The harmony is complex and dense, like the interlacing branches of a cedar of Lebanon, providing shade for the weary traveler who has walked too long under the scorching sun of secular demands. The healing here is found in the disappearance of the lonely self into the majestic us. As the fourth song unfolds, it takes the shape of a deep subterranean water flowing beneath the crypts where the martyrs rest in silent vigil. This is the hymn of the baptismal font, the cold plunge into the mystery of rebirth, where the grime of the world is sloughed off like a dead skin. The rhythm is syncopated and fluid, mimicking the ebb and flow of a tide that obeys a lunar grace we cannot see, but can only feel in the rising of our blood. It is a song for the thirsty, whose throats have been parched by the salt of their own tears. And it offers a vintage that does not intoxicate, but clarifies the mind until the path ahead is visible through the mist of the valley. The fifth movement is the golden song of the monstrance, a radiance that vibrates at a frequency higher than the human ear can register, but which the marrow of the bone understands perfectly. It is the music of the center of the universe, pulling every stray thought back to its origin. The choir whispers the syllables of ancient Latin, not as dead words, but as living seeds planted in the fallow ground of the heart. This is the medicine of presence, where the healing occurs simply by standing still in the light of the invisible King. There is a weightiness to this hope, a gravity that anchors the drifting spirit to the bedrock of a promise made before the foundations of the stars were laid. In the sixth canticle, we hear the sound of the thurible swinging on its silver chains, a rhythmic clinking that accompanies the rising smoke of the frankincense. The music becomes atmospheric and ethereal, as if the prayers are being carried upward on the backs of angels. This is the hymn of the ascent, the healing of the vertical relationship, where the bent back of the sinner begins to straighten. We are no longer looking at the dust of our origin, but at the constellations of our destination. The lyrics to a modern urgency, asking for the strength to climb the mountain of the Lord with clean hands and a heart that has been scrubbed by the rough wool of penance. The seventh song is the most difficult for it, is the song of the great silence after the final chord has diminished into the rafters. It is the healing of the ear that has been deafened by the cacophony of the world's demands. In this hollowed out space, the hope is a quiet ember glowing in the dark of a Saturday vigil. It is the patient waiting for the stone to roll away, the confidence that the silence of God is not an absence, but a profound preparation. The choir breathes in unison, a rhythmic sigh that signals the end of the struggle and the beginning of the rest.
The great pipes groan with the weight of ancient stone, inhaling the dust of centuries to exhale the breath of the living word. Under the vaulted ribs of the nave, the diapason swells, a thundering heartbeat that precedes the first footfall of the faithful. It is the melody of Bunison, a tune forged in the mist of the Hebrides, rising now like a slow-burning sun over the granite altar. The organist pulls the stops of history, and the music becomes a physical architecture, a sanctuary made of air and vibration, where the spirit may finally unbuckle its heavy armor. Here, the silence is not an absence, but a preparation, a clearing of the inner thicket so that the word may walk among the trees of our thoughts.
Christ be the compass when the needle of the soul spins wildly in the magnetic storm of the world. Beside me, He is the unyielding wall of diamond that deflects the arrows of the noonday devil. Before me, He is the pillar of cloud that makes a path through the trackless desert of the mundane. The choir begins its ascent, their voices weaving a tapestry of polyphonic certainty, layering the air with the scent of frankincense and the texture of worn velvet. Each syllable of the lorica is a stitch in a celestial breastplate, binding the heart to the hearth of the Trinity. There is no space where He is not, for the music proves that even the gaps between the notes are filled with His intentional grace. In the mouth of the stranger, Christ is the sudden warmth of an unexpected welcome. In the eye of the friend, He is the light that does not flicker when the shadows grow long. The hymn moves with a pastoral rhythm, a gentle swaying of wheat in a sanctified wind. Yet it carries the weight of a mountain. To sing Bunison is to acknowledge the morning of the world, the primal moment when the Creator first hummed the universe into being. The choir's unison is a declaration of singular purpose, a gathered strength that says, we are not orphans of the stars, but children of a Father who walks the dusty roads of our daily failures. Beneath the soles of my feet, Christ is the bedrock that does not crumble, that does not crumble. When the floods of sorrow rise to the chin above me, He is the vaulted sky, the limit of my ambition, and the floor of my ultimate hope. The organ's pedal tones vibrate in the marrow of the bone, reminding the flesh that it was made from the red clay of the earth, and geometry in this protection. It is a circle that excludes nothing but fear, a boundary that marks the soul as the sovereign territory of the king. The melody repeats, circling the altar of the mind, refining the will until the self is but a transparent window for the eternal light to pass through. As the final stanza gathers its breath, the choir expands into a glorious dissonance that resolves into a peace, passing all understanding. Christ be in my sleeping, Christ be in my waking, the constant rhythm of a heart that has found its home. The last chord of the organ does not truly end. It merely retreats into the stones of the cathedral, a latent resonance that will hum within the silence of the week to come. The lyrics remain etched upon the inner eyelid, a vision of a savior who is both the shield on the arm and the path under the feet. When the doors swing open to the glare of the street, we carry the Bunnison dawn within us, a secret armor of song that no clamor of the city can ever truly pierce. The digital flicker fades as the heavy bronze of mediolanum swings upon the hinges of the soul, and the static of the modern street is drowned by the rhythmic pulse of a heart tuned to the ancient meters of the morning. Here in the brief space between the scrolling thumb and the eternal eye, we encounter the governor who became the shepherd, not by the will of the flesh, but by the sudden cry of a child echoing through the basilica, like a divine decree. You seek power in the thunder of the forum, but find it instead in the stillness of a man who stood before the purple of the empire and forbade the threshold to a bloodied Caesar until the crown bowed lower than the cross. This is the wisdom that does not trickle from the parched lips of the sophist, but flows like the golden abundance of a celestial hive, where the bees of the spirit deposited their nectar upon the infant mouth of a sleeping saint. We walk through the architecture of his sentences, where every stone is a syllogism, and every window is a hymn designed to catch the first light of the eternal. Rerum conditor, before the world wakes to its toil. There is a way to this tribute that defies the lightness of the screen as we navigate the corridors of his rhetoric, where the law of the land was transmuted into the liturgy of the land. He did not merely speak of the light, he fashioned the very lamps that hold it through the antiphonal chanting of 1,000 voices rising in a single tide to wash away the dry dust of varying shadows. Witness the power that commanded the earth to yield the hidden bones of martyrs, so that the foundations of our faith might be bolstered by the crimson testimony of the soil itself. His wisdom was a sharp blade wrapped in silk, a gentle hand that guided the restless mind of the African rhetorician, from the labyrinth of the Manichees to the clarity